My name is Angela O'Neill. I'm from First Followers, and I'm here because I'm a community activist against gun violence in the community. I started in 2018. I lost my son through gun violence here in Illinois in 2015. And I just been out here doing what I could do to help the people in the community who have lived, have went through the same thing that I have been through. And it's like therapy for me, just as well as them, and to see what we can do next to go forward in helping our young ones in the community here. So I'm so grateful for First Followers who saw me at my worst and reached out to me and gave me options to go to classes, different classes like grieving classes, something I've needed, trauma class because you lose a loved one is trauma, mentally, physically, emotionally, all that. So it's a blessing to be here, and I see the difference within the younger, the generation that we treat here, the teenagers on up, and I see some great positive you know, uh, things from it. So I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to be in the presence of you guys, and I appreciate you all when we came to y'all school to interview us then. Sometimes, when I talk about it, I get a little emotional because it never goes away, but I'm here to help somebody else because it really helps me. As a mother and as a person in the community, you go through so many mental and physical emotions. Sometimes I beat myself up. I was asking myself what I could have done differently. When I saw the warning signs, because you always have warning signs, your kids will act out differently to you. You'll see, they ask different questions. So I've even asked some of the younger people that I deal with now, teenagers that I deal with now, what are some of the, I look and see some of the signs, and some of the things that they say to me. I've saw those signs within my sons because I'm a mother of 4. I have 1 daughter and 3 sons. And my old baby boy was the one shot and killed in 2015. And I also have a son that's incarcerated right now. After his brother, passed away, it's like he lost it. He didn't know which way to go. Even though I asked him, can he go to the meetings with me? Can I do something to help him? Because I knew that the help I got helped me. But he was wearing it all on his sleeves and everything for a long time because my son called him that day that it happened to him and he didn't answer the phone. So he felt like he was, he let his brother down and he could have said something, to save him or whatever, but life happens. So he beat himself up and he went out there and he carried a gun after that because he felt like he needed protection for himself because he never know who was coming behind him, after his brother was shot. So now I have a son that's in prison. He'll be in prison for the next 3-4 years. And so I'm on both sides of the fence. A mother who lost a child and then a son who's in jail for, guns. So it's been hard, but my faith, my family, and this wonderful place called First Followers has really embraced me, and that's why I'm here today to be able to stand in front of you, sit in front of you guys and talk with you all about this. So I'm really active in the community, like it was the young guy that just came through here. We are in those, at that age now, 17 on up, because they are the ones out here, being misguided and everything, and out here pulling the trigger, basically. So I'm honored to be with you guys. I'm glad I'm here and not crying and at the moment because I have growth. And I can see the difference within me when it happened in 2015. on up until now. And I'm so grateful that my son has a daughter. She was actually pregnant before he died. They had did the reveal gender, so I knew it was gonna be a girl. So I'm so grateful I have her as a part of him, to guide and love on her, and she reminds me so much of my son. I mean, he the daddy. And so I'm so grateful for that and my family and first followers. And I'm glad that we can reach out to you students over at the university because, it's like the university and then it's Champaign-Urbana. So y'all, the university really don't understand what's going on in the streets of Champaign-Urbana because it's a whole nother, lifestyle. So to bring you guys out here into what, Champaign-Urbana is about, it feels really good that we can really, let you guys know, relate with you all. And if it's anything that y'all can do to come out in the community to help us out, we are here at all times and whenever y'all wants to come through us. So I thank y'all for everything. And it's great. I feel really, really good today. I feel great about First Followers. I feel good about our future and, where we're going. And now that we have the Champaign in with us, because we do reentry program too for, people who's been in prison and, coming back out in society. They don't have a lot of things, they spent 20, 30 years or however many years in prison. And then, the system different, computers different, everything different. So once they get out here, they might, if they need anything like IDs, social security cards, anything, we help provide that type of thing for them. And now I'm about to get clearance to go into the prisons to visit with them before, they on their way out so that we can ask them the things that they need and see what we can do before they transition to come back out into society so that they can be productive citizens. I've been here in Champaign County since 1992. I'm originally from Chicago and I came here with my 2 children. And so they grown now. I raised them in this community since 92. I have grandchildren in this community, and that's why I'm so passionate about it because they are the next generations coming up. I listen to a lot of people in the communities. I see the difference from 92 on up until now, and it reminds me of Chicago in a, smaller version because the big city, the smaller version. So now, when I moved here, you used to sleep with your doors open, unlocked and all that. No more of that ever again. Okay, this is the 21st, second century, and it's not the same. You don't feel safe no more. When you're coming out your door or just getting in your car, any little thing, because people just ain't the same. And COVID didn't make it no better. COVID made it actually mentally worse for the people because people normally getting out doing their everyday things, but now they have to sit in the house, look at TV. People ain't been around each other that long, and God knows how long, Every day you going to work, bustle, hustle, the kids. So I think COVID brought out a lot of mental issues that was covered up because everybody was able to keep going through their day. And now mental health is really what we're working on because I could say it for myself. It mentally, got me because I figure like if I'm out in the community, doing this and that, I can keep myself busy. I can keep my mind from going from, this mother that lost a child to this mother that can help somebody else, in the midst of it. So our community is crying out for whichever way we can, help in the community with this gun violence thing, teach these young, kids, give them something to do. The community don't have a lot for them to do. And a lot of them figure like, okay, I'm only making this little bit of money. If I go do this, I can make that much more money, which and that come with a lot of consequences because it's not legally, and it's not right. So we see a lot of that in our community also too with our young ones. And I can say that even with my sons going to the schools, and I've been to the schools, and as I say, I'm a mother of four, one daughter and three sons, and all three of my children was in school here. And I went up to the high school, and I knew when my sons was doing different stuff. I went to the principal, I went to the counselors, and I begged out to them. I said, please help me. I have three sons. I'm a single mother, and my sons is doing this, that, and that. And can you help me with it? So I went to this school they went to, and the counselors, did what they could do, but that was about all they did in the school. They could help me around the school, but not out of school. So I actually put them in Big Brothers and Big Sisters, any little program that they could offer me to keep my kids, in a different mind frame instead of being in the streets. So as a mother, I don't think I failed them. I just think it wasn't enough resources to help them out at that time. So that's what I could conclude with it. Our community is crying out, and that's why I'm here to see what I can do to help. I'm just gonna say it's no solution to, because it's coming from every different place. I figured that if we can get some of these teens, and like the program we do here for Go Mad, it's for like 16 to 24, and we get them in here. Marlon teach them how to do, construction. They actually built all this whole place right here was gutted out and all that, and we got the Go Mad team here, and them young brothers did a great job, so we teaching them hands-on experience with construction, with electricity, because Marlon electrician, so he getting them hands-on experience to get out here, where you can get a job, where you can make a good earned income, to live a better lifestyle than what's going on now. So those are some of the things in the different community centers that they have here. They doing a lot of different things, and we all like trying to come together, the whole community and all the different services that we have in the Champaign County area. We all trying to come together under our H3 model. That's our H3 model there, and to see from each organization, can we all come together and pull this thing where we can grab our community, get back in this community, and let them know that we love them, first of all, and we here for them, and we hear they cry. Okay. And we want to know what they need, what we can help them with, and how we can make our community better, because it's already, and I say it's unity for our community, because united we stand, divided we fall. So we've been divided, so that's why we all, falling like this here. So we in the greatest country in America, United States of America, and we ain't united. So that's where we see the problem at. And the trust in the law enforcement, especially with our Black and brown community, us, me, myself, the trust factor in the law hasn't been good for us. So that's one of the things with our young children, the trust in the law, because, and I say racism, sexism, all the isms ain't been good for us. So that's why you see all the crime like that, because it's no trust in our law enforcement. So that's one thing we trying to be a backup to, our law enforcement and our Black and brown community here. With the police, like I can see like our young boys walking down the street. They could be in 4, 5 of them. All of a sudden police pulling them over. What y'all going, what y'all doing? And even as myself, being an African-American female, coming down here in 92 from Chicago, inner city mindset, inner city, and to come to a smaller town, I've experienced a lot of racism. I mean, that I'm like, okay, all right, And that's one thing, because when I say unity, it comes with all culture. Black, white, brown, wherever you from, we all under United States, one nation under God. And that's what we got to get back to. instead of the skin color and all that don't matter. We all human beings, and we all, here to help each other out, and that's what we're supposed to do. All the organization was just doing their own things. And then we came up because with the gun violence rising, you know, and still rising because it ain't over with. I just heard some stuff on the news, so it's gonna be in the community. It's so much going on. I know one organization can do it by themselves, so that's why with the H3 model, we asking other organizations, put aside how you feel about anything and everything, and come together and see what we can do. So that's what the H3 model is. We getting other organizations in with us, and we building this whole team of organizations as a unit. So that's the way we're doing it with that. Well, right here, this is a start. And it felt really great to even come into y'all class to, just speak about it. And it's people, you guys come here for a 4-year college, and folks go back to wherever they're going for their careers and stuff like that. And not really knowing about, the Champaign community besides the university. And with that, this is a good step. And I'm glad to be able to reach out to you guys so that you guys can pass it on too, for the next people that's coming about in the University of Illinois, because the University of Illinois been here, for that long. So just to talk with you guys and bring it out. And I know that you guys go talk to other people, and, just word of mouth and stuff like that carries, it goes far. So I'm glad to be able to do this with you guys. It feels really, really good to know that we including the University of Illinois in with us so that we can come together and work out a system. We actually had other people from the university to come here with me. I talked with them like a couple weeks ago, trying to figure out how we can make some type of system, like we call in and different things. So we actually working with you guys, and you guys are working with us, and it's great all the way around. So I thank you all. So this is a great start. Hopefully from this interview and months and years down the line, I can look back and say, wow, we made a difference.